CEO of Kraig Biocraft Laboratories. Welcome. The purpose of this press conference is to describe and explain a significant scientific achievement, which is the fulfillment of my vision for this company from a scientific perspective since its founding. It is a very proud moment for me and for Kraig Labs, but it's also humbling. I know watching are many people who helped us build this company. Shareholders who have been with us for years, founding shareholders, scientists on our team and who were formerly on our team, consultants, scientific team at the University of Notre Dame. And frankly, it would be very fitting if all the employees of Kraig Labs and Prodigy Textiles could be here for this announcement too. But under current circumstances, that simply isn't possible. But I know many of them are watching, and we would like to say thank you and welcome. The achievements that we are describing today belong really not just to those of us who are standing here, but to all of these people that we've just described. Now, we're here to describe a scientific achievement, not to do too much cheerleading. As the CEO of Kraig, I am a natural cheerleader for the company, and that role comes very easily to me because I love this company. But it's important that we get the facts straight on our science and what we're doing, and that we don't hype that. To help me with that aspect of this press conference, I brought Dr. Kane, who can give us a little bit more of a dry perspective, and I will do my best, although I'm going to be ad-libbing here off my script a bit, but I'll do my best to tone down the cheerleading and let the audience and the media determine for themselves the value of our science. So let me just share, before I give up my role as cheerleader, let me just share my personal perspective with the people who are watching who helped build this company. Our team captains, John Rice here at Kraig and Ken Lee at Prodigy, are carrying the ball across the field for us. And hopefully, for those who have not been able to follow very recent events at Kraig Labs, you'll be able to see some of that here in this press conference today. So, very, very brief background. As most of you know, Kraig Labs is in the business of developing and producing recombinant spider silk. We use a silkworm-based platform. And essentially what we've done in the past is we have taken a DNA cassette, which we've created, coding for spider silk protein, and we've inserted that into the silkworm genome in such a way that the silkworm actually produces our cassette, which is a spider silk-based derivative, and produces in its silk glands, which it then combines with its other proteins. When it spins a fiber, it spins one continuous silk fiber, combining our spider silk protein with its own natural proteins. This is, in my opinion, a very beautiful and elegant process. Our two lead products that are we're currently working to ramp up for production in an overseas facility are Dragon Silk and Monster Silk. That will be changing with this announcement. The scientific breakthrough that we have achieved is going to forever change Kraig Labs and I believe the commercialization of spider silk products. Its completion triggers milestone provisions in our chief scientist's employment provision because this was the main focus of our R&D operations since we set up this facility over 2 years ago. Today we are revealing the successful achievement of our long-standing goal, internally referred to as Generation 2 and Generation 3 technologies. Some of our long-standing shareholders and founders will recall our discussions in the past about that work and development. Essentially, pure spider silk. Thank you, Dr. Kane. Thank you, Mr. Rice. We have now moved beyond our groundbreaking recombinant products, Monster Silk and Dragon Silk. we've developed an entirely new strain of powerful transgenic silkworms using very advanced non-CRISPR technology. What we've been working on is appropriately known to molecular biologists as knock-in, knock-out. Our version has some twists, including very large plasmid insertions. Dr. Kane will be here to explain that in just a minute. From my perspective, knock-in, knock-out is a knockout punch. In short, through genetic engineering, we've told the silkworm to stop making its essential protein. That's the knockout. The same silkworm is now instead programmed to produce our customizable spider silk-based DNA cassette. In other words, we have created an essentially pure spider silk production platform, which has eliminated the major component of normal silkworm silk. This new technology platform, in addition to creating spider silk, will allow us to much more easily produce customized proteins incorporated into the spider silk. This has been a long-standing goal of our research and development operations even when we were back working inside the laboratories, working in collaboration with the laboratories at the University of Notre Dame. This is the next generation of spider silk production technologies, and it will change not only what we produce, but who we produce it for, and as you'll hear in a moment, it's going to change a little bit about how we produce that too. We are leveraging the potential for this technology for large-scale US domestic production. Details on that in a moment. What we have created is 4 times more complex than any previously published work in our field. And when I say that, I mean objectively based upon the measurable difference in size and mass of our protein construct and genetic insert. This represents a monumental advancement for Kraig Labs, and we believe for spider silk technology. We believe this advancement opens new doors for spider silk materials across a range of markets. We are now working towards transitioning this technology from the laboratory and into production. We're doing, once again, our little company, what many people said was impossible. I'd like to introduce Mr. John Rice, head of our operations here at Kraig Biocraft Laboratories.
Thank you, Kim. Hi, good afternoon. I think it's important to remember that even as we're talking about making these radical advancements in our product offerings and our sciences, that we are deep into the commercialization process for our legacy fibers, Monster Silk and Dragon Silk. The new platforms that we're revealing today significantly boost Kraig Labs' business model and advance our research operations. This new knock-in, knock-out capability remains in line with the company's strong commitment to eco-friendly spider silk production. In addition to eliminating the need for toxic chemical processing required by competing technologies and most synthetic fibers, our silkworms require only fresh mulberry leaves. Our planned production will be responsible for the planting and sustainment of thousands of acres of mulberry trees. That's good for the environment and captures and sequesters significant amounts of carbon dioxide. The company continues to make progress with the scale-up of our commercial operations. Based on lessons learned from our 2019-2020 winter production, we have moved ahead to secure additional lands for the planting of mulberry. In December of 2019, our company oversaw 14 hectares of additional mulberry fields that we expect to begin harvesting within the next 2 months. These fields will reduce our reliance on contracted sources and will ensure a supply of mulberry during the traditional silk production off-season. While today's announcement is exciting and showcases the future of spider silk commercialization, operations on the ground remained focused to the production and sale of the company's current leading materials, Dragon Silk and Monster Silk. I believe this will be a breakout year for our production operations, and I look forward to the work ahead in commercializing these Gen 2 and Gen 3 product lines. I'd like to take a moment to thank our scientific team for the incredible work that they have done and that they continue to do. Earlier this month, SynBio Markets identified Kraig as a leader innovator and has invited our CEO to speak at their conference in Amsterdam. This gracious acknowledgement is a testament to our team's ability to execute on our business plan. With that, let me now hand it back over to Mr. Thompson to share more about the exciting events coming ahead.
Thank you, John. I apologize, my notes seem to be misarranged. We believe that our economical Gen 2 and Gen 3 technologies is a real game changer. Working with silkworms has always been difficult. Working in comparison with single-celled organisms like bacteria or yeast has been much simpler. And that is why many of our competitors have gone down that road, working with monocolonies of yeast and bacteria because of that ease of use. They've gone down that road, but in my opinion, with this announcement, we are now climbing the expressway ramp. We are now moving forward to transition this technology from the lab and into production. We are reviewing names for the trademark. We have not chosen one yet. It is possible that we will move the Dragon Silk trademark over to this new line of products. There are other very significant implications for this technology, particularly for Kraig's business plan. As recently as this past summer, I did not see a real near-term path for US production of spider silk. That's because, one, of economics, and two, because of the particular requirements for the silkworm. That has changed with this technology. I'm very happy to announce that we now see a path forward for domestic production of large-scale commercial quantities of spider silk in the United States. We think it's realistic that we could have this transgenic created specifically for US production as early as the first or second quarter of 2021, and we could launch large-scale commercial production in the United States as early as 2023. I'm also happy to announce that the company is fulfilling its original vision by utilizing this technology and the silkworm in unexpected ways. We are now in an advanced state of developing silkworms with enhanced immune systems. Let me say that again. We are now working in an advanced rate on creating silkworms with enhanced immune systems. This technology, this enhanced immune system technology, has the potential to improve the economics of silk production around the world, not just for Kraig Labs spider silk, but for mundane silk production. Mundane silk is approximately a $5 billion a year industry around the world, and with this technology, we could improve the economics of that production. We envision sharing this branch of our technology with other producers around the world and licensing the technology to them. Now let me call up Dr. Kane to share some details about our groundbreaking work on our knockout, knock-in.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson and Mr. Rice. The primary component of traditional silk is a protein called heavy chain fibron. This fibron is a main structural component of silkworm silk and is responsible for virtually all of the mechanical properties of conventional silk. The heavy chain was our target, and we have successfully hit that target. We simultaneously inserted our own customized spider DNA sequences. There are other minor components that make up silkworm silk, such as the LCF and sericin glue that holds the cocoon together, that we have not removed. Our Dragon Silk and Monster Silk lines use a technology which added DNA coding for spider silk proteins to the silkworm genome. Those silkworms then coated the spider silk protein and added it to its own liquid silk before spinning. While groundbreaking and highly successful, that process kept the majority of the native silk proteins embedded in the resulting fibers. Our new process is an entirely different and much more advanced system. The significant accomplishment that we are announcing today was part of the vision of Kraig Labs from the beginning, and the research effort has been referred to by the company as Gen 2 or Gen 3 technology. Gen 2 referred to the knock-in, knock-out, essentially pure spider silk, and Gen 3 referred to the potential to customize. We have now achieved both of these goals. In 2017, the company invited me to join the team and open its own internal research facility outside of the university. Having now succeeded and validated our work, we have a developmental toolset vastly more powerful than what was used to create the Dragon and Monster Silk lines. Prior to today's announcement, published research in knock-in, knock-out work with silkworm silk manipulation was limited to very small proteins with no discernible commercial benefit. We have inserted a spider silk sequence about 4 times larger than what is published. This significantly larger plasmid that we have constructed represents an exponentially more challenging insert and should result in similarly impressive improvements in material performance. The company is now preparing these new transgenics for commercialization. My team has already created even larger and more complex constructs using our new knock-in, knock-out capabilities than what we are announcing today. Some of this work incorporates complex silk proteins from Darwin's bark spider. We expect that work to far outpace anything previously developed. Based on testing data and published research, we accept that these larger constructs will provide for increased mechanical properties and larger cocoon sizes. We have now successfully produced the 3rd generation of silkworms using this technology, and our screening tests continue to confirm the success of my team's groundbreaking work. Before I give the podium back to Mr. Thompson, I would once again like to thank my lab team. This was a challenging project, and I very much appreciate all of your hard work.
Thank you, Dr. Kane. And let me say, we very much appreciate your hard work also, and that of your team. This is the most significant technological breakthrough for Kraig Labs and potentially for the commercialization of spider silk since 2010. This has the potential to quickly overshadow the capabilities of all previous efforts. Today marks a monumental moment for Kraig Labs and the commercialization of our spider silk products. 1, we have developed a large plasmid knock-in, knock-out system specifically for silkworm and are using it in combination with our other technologies. 2, we have produced the first essentially pure spider silk silkworms, consisting of our own customized large plasmid insert targeting heavy chain fibron while keeping intact the silkworm's native light chain fibron, sericin, and other minor proteins. We have not chosen a name for this product line, but I am seriously considering moving the product name Dragon Silk to this line. I frankly think this line really more emphasizes the power of that name. We're also using this same work to accelerate our work with very large proteins from Darwin's bark spider and other sequences that we are not quite yet prepared to disclose. The science team is pursuing this work with very great enthusiasm. We are also using the new technology to augment the silkworm's natural immune system, and maybe most important for Mr. Rice, we anticipate that we will be able to use the technology to develop a silkworm specifically for large-scale U.S. commercial production of spider silk. To the media, spider silk is exciting. The continuing breakthroughs here at Kraig and at thousands of other companies around the world, not just in biotechnology, but in many fields, are only accelerating. As we've said in Kraig for many years, the future is made in the laboratory. Today, Dr. Kane has made that future for us in this laboratory. To our shareholders, you have all made this possible. At Kraig, we are all working hard to bring value. Every employee of Kraig knows that they are working for you. Thank you. Media, for inquiries and to direct questions, please direct your email to ir@craiglabs.com. And for anyone else who is interested in keeping up with the news of Kraig Labs, you're happy to log on to our website, craiglabs.com, and subscribe to our newsletter and automatic press release feed. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. King. Thank you, Mr. Rice.